Let's get to cricket. A newly appointed Cricket Kenya Council CEO, that is Walter Trank Mukinginyi, says that Cricket Kenya will get out of its troubles soon and they will start sailing smoothly. Davis Beria had a conversation with him in the morning, and this is what he had to say.
So thank you very much. There is a big concern and a big, of course, battle brewing in the Cricket Kenya Federation. Just introduce yourself and talk to us about that. And does it put the federation and the game maybe in an ailing manner?
Thank you very much for having me in your studios here tonight, this afternoon. My name is Walter Trank Mukinginyi. I am the interim CEO of Cricket Kenya. And yes, to answer your question, we are having a problem about how to bring the game back to where it should be. Of course, the issues that you have been hearing about in the last couple of weeks don't put the game in very good light, but we are trying to get out of the woods, and we believe that with the team that has been put together by the council on the 21st of September is going to help us. It's a team of professionals, people coming from different backgrounds, and I think they are going to help us to bring back cricket where it should be. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that cricket is now in the right hands, and the people who are there have their hands on deck, and I believe that giving it maybe another couple of weeks, a couple of months, sorry, not weeks, because weeks will be too ambitious, we believe we are going to be in a good place, and Kenyans are going to see a very big change in the way cricket is run in this country. But we also ask for their support, the support of the government, the support of all the stakeholders, the fans, the people who love cricket across the world, to come and help our cricket to come back to where it should be.
Where you sit, where do you think all this emanated from?
Like in sports, people also pursue different interests. Much as they love the sport, but they're also probably pursuing interests which are not necessarily about the sport. And I think that's where the whole problem started. But we'll deal with those type of issues as we go along. We are not saying they are going to go away overnight, but there are issues that can be dealt with. Yes.
There have been push and pull concerning the T20 tournament that was actually to go on. Manoj Patel and Kennedy Obuya on the other side, and also the other faction led by Pauline Omamo. The faction of Pauline Omamo claims that the T20 tournament wasn't official because the sponsor did not reveal the contracts to the public and to the board. But of course, Obuya and Manoj Patel claim this was discussed and the decision was made. From where you sit, how does this go?
First, let me make a correction there that Pauline doesn't have a faction. She's a member of the Cricket Kenya board. She's the elected women's director. And Manoj Patel is the chairman. Kennedy Obuya is the county representative and is also the acting treasurer. So there's no faction. There's a group of people who was members of the board up to March this year that had a misunderstanding about how to interpret the constitution. But in the last 2 weeks, we have made it clearer to them that they are no longer members of the board, and they have actually been served with letters of service. We have thanked them for having served Cricket Kenya for the last 3 years. And so therefore, there is no faction within Cricket Kenya. Pauline doesn't lead a faction. She's a member of the board of Cricket Kenya. And therefore, I wanted to clear the air about factions. There are no factions. She doesn't lead a faction. Because if she was leading a faction, for example, she'll be claiming she's the chair, or that she's this or the other. But she still is the director for women's cricket.
When they claim, of course, they claim the other side doesn't have the majority of the members on the board. They are the ones to make that decision.
Unfortunately, as I said, that was the misconception. There was a misunderstanding about the Cricket Kenya constitution that members serve for 3 years, and that's where the problem started. That a member serves for 3 years. What they did not know is that you might actually not serve for 3 years because the term starts counting from the period set out in the constitution, not the period that you are nominated. Their argument, which was a wrong one, was that the nomination starts at the time that you join the board. Unfortunately, that's not how the law operates across the world. The law operates that when you get nominated, and there's a time frame within which you serve. If the time frame is 3 years, it's counted from the time you should have been nominated, not the time you are actually nominated. And therefore, you might lose some time off your period because you are nominated later than you should actually have been. So therefore, it's not a faction. It was a misconception. It was a misunderstanding of the Constitution. And I have seen that they have quietly accepted that that's the position. And therefore, the board functions as a Cricket Kenya board with a council. The council is complete. It met on the 21st of last month and made resolutions. They put new members to replace the previously nominated members, and it's functioning well. I mean, it's meeting, it's making decisions. It met, the first board meeting happened on 30th of last month, and they have put in place plans and how we are going to roll out our plans for the remainder of this term. Absolutely, I want to guarantee you that there's no faction. That was a misconception, a misunderstanding by a group of members of the board, that they were still members of the board. But it was made clearer to them that they are actually not members of the board, and many of them have accepted. Maybe one or two are still having issues, but we believe that as time goes by, they are going to start to learn how to live with the reality that they served for a shorter time than they had expected, and therefore their term ended. And in any event, even if we were going to go by the claim that they have to serve for 3 years, again the 3 years ended. They have served a whole 3 years actually. So whether you want to look at it from the constitutional point of view or from the real period they served, their period lapsed, and therefore they are no longer members of the board, and therefore there are no two boards at Cricket Kenya.
So that means their claims that they've hosted Kennedy Obuya and Manoj Patel, that is not right.
It's not true. It can't happen. It's not within the laws of Cricket Kenya. There's a constitution in Cricket Kenya. And nowhere where it says that you can oust, or rather the board, members of the board can oust another member. What they can do is they can recommend suspension. And that suspension under Article 7 of the Constitution, 7.6 I think, of the Constitution, they can send a member on suspension for disciplinary purposes. Either they have put the game into disrepute, or they are unable to discharge their duties, or they are corrupt, or this or the other. And that, if that has happened, they are written a letter and suspended, but they are given within 7 days to respond. And after responding, they can appear before the disciplinary committee within a reasonable period of time, and then their charges are read to them, which has not happened in this case. So the issue of suspension has absolutely no effect in law.
Let's talk about the annual general meeting. The first one has been held, and Palino Mamo-led group, they say they are going to hold another general meeting, which they say it is actually of the official one. Where you sit, which one should we follow?
As I said earlier, there are no two boards, there are no two councils in Cricket Kenya. Cricket Kenya has a council of 24 counties, which brings two officials from every county. And 21 of them met on the 21st of September and made resolutions. I don't know where they are going to get their own council, which is going again to sit. And as I said earlier, they have a misconception that they are members of the board. They are not. And the earlier they accept this, many of them have actually, as I said, the earlier they accept that they are not members of the board, it's the better for Kenyan cricket. I believe that Kenyan cricket is big enough. We have space. Actually, we have too much space that can accommodate everyone. They can play different roles within the board. Even being part of the current board, I believe still there can be space for them there, but not necessarily because they pushed, because they have value that they can bring, that they can add on Kenyan cricket. If somebody sees value, if the current board sees value in what these guys can bring on board, I believe they can still sit on the board in different capacities or serve Cricket Kenya, not necessarily as board members, but as people playing certain roles within the Cricket Kenya system.
Of course, the officials from the board, including Manoj Patel, who is the chairman, and Kennedy Obuya have been summoned by the DCI. I don't understand why it is DCI and not the EACC, which handles corruption, because their case is concerning some money that was misappropriated.
Well, by that time when the alleged malpractices happened, I was not part of the board, I was not there. So my comment would only be that if a matter has been handed over to the relevant authorities to investigate, the only thing is that probably they took it to a wrong forum, a wrong forum, because matters to do with corruption, let's say it's true. Let us assume that the allegations are true, which I don't know. Then they should have been handed over to the EACC to investigate. But even before you do that, you should do an internal audit. What is the internal audit report say? Is it there? And if it's not there, why is it not there? Then the next step is you do an external audit. Because we are just hearing, we were seated just like this, then boom, we hear that these guys have been summoned by the DCI. And so the two gentlemen, not actually two of them, it's only that the two of them were brought out in the public, but I have been informed reliably that all the members of the board then, including the treasurer who is currently on suspension, were summoned by the DCI. How DCI is going to deal with this matter is very interesting to me. I am watching to see how it unfolds because basically what I know is that it's not within the ambit of DCI to investigate crimes of that nature, because I know that they don't have the necessary infrastructure to investigate that type of crime.
And maybe finally, all this emanates from the T20 League. Tell us more about...
So let me say something about the T20 League, that Cricket Kenya exists, and its main objective is actually to administer within Kenya the game of cricket. And so that's our primary responsibility as a federation, to make sure that cricket is played. And for the last couple of years, we have not had a national league of any form. Apart from some counties like Nairobi organizing their domestic leagues, we don't have any league associated with Cricket Kenya. And so the board, in its wisdom, thought that they should look for a partner, and they got one in the name of AOS, that's Arena of Sports, which they entered into a partnership. They signed an agreement. The agreement actually is in the custody of Cricket Kenya officials. I am not privy to it because I have not fully accessed some of the documents, but I believe the contract is there, and if we really push to see it, we should be able to see it. And so the tournament, or rather the league, the AOS-CK T20 League is on, it's being organized. Within this November, it should be played, and everybody who loves cricket or claim to love cricket, they should let that league be played. If there are any practices that are not right, for example, then we should let the law to take charge, to take its course. If, for example, there are people who have conducted themselves improperly or inappropriately, there are laws to take care of them.
Well, that is Davis Beria, who was speaking to the newly appointed Cricket Kenya Council CEO Walter Fringe on which way cricket. We now take a short break. When we come back, we'll be focusing on the English Premier League games that we have on the cards this afternoon.